Welcome.
It's great to be back from family reunion,
It's a good day. It's a good week. It's going to be awesome. Everybody's muted.
Everybody's muted on their phones. Excellent.
We're sharing.
We're shared, ready to go.
Ready to go. Okay,
awesome.
Good too. Awesome.
All right.
Hey everybody, welcome to Open House at the Firewalks Club. I'm Chad Peevy, along with my great co-host, the lovely and wonderful
MK Melanie Kennemann.
Melanie Kennemann. So glad
back
you
in
could join.
Austin.
Yeah, it's good. We're back.
Happy. What a week last week.
Yeah, it was an incredible week.
Amazing week. Now, unfortunately, our interviews didn't work the way we wanted them to. We had that amazing interview, so thank you for those of you that tuned in with Cody Gibson. He's amazing. He promised we will get him back when he comes to Austin. It's just the internet in that convention hall with 18,000 people wasn't living up to what we needed.
Yeah, it didn't work out, but we'll get Cody in here.
We're excited.
We'll do it again. Cody has a great story. Thanks so much, Cody, for doing that, and we appreciate you coming back.
That's right.
So our wonderful guest today, the queen of databases, is Kristen Williams.
Hi.
Kristen, hey.
Thanks for having
we
me.
didn't bring a crown. You know, we really should have had a crown.
I need one.
Yes, we do.
Okay, next time. Okay.
Maybe we can ask Gary Gentry about that.
Oh, yes, he's got one.
That's a good idea. Awesome. Well, Kristen, let's just jump right in. We're gonna do questions from the box today.
Okay.
Oh, questions from the box.
So here, would you like to pick your own? Sorry about that. Would you like to pick
we
your
like
own?
to keep it, fresh and funky. So
if you don't like the question, you can throw it away.
I picked two questions.
Okay.
Let me see. Okay.
Oh, interesting. That's
Would
a
you
good
like
one.
to be proudest of your accomplishments or your character?
Probably my character.
I would think. That's a bad
absolutely.
question.
Yeah.
Who says?
I mean, that was a trick question, right?
That was
Like, what if
awful.
you answered the other one?
Yeah.
This is fun. What posters did you have in your room when you were young?
Oh, that's good.
Matt Damon and Bon Jovi. I realize. I know. I know. I'm a little young for Bon Jovi.
Yeah.
I loved Bon Jovi.
Here's the question.
Still love him.
Do you still have him in your room?
Posters, no. Although I
Like if you go home to your parents' house,
No.
Some people's rooms still look like that.
Mine did. Well, they took my room over. My old room is no longer a room.
That's
so.
healthy.
Maybe
That's a
it's
healthy
just in
empty
movies. Maybe it's just in
possession.
movies, but you see that where people go back and they have their room.
Carter's room is still pretty much the same. Like he's got Michael Jordan and
see
Deion Sanders.
It's not that far fetched.
No, it's not.
Awesome.
Yeah. So.
All right, Kristen, let's just jump right in. We have a lot to talk about with you today.
Okay.
Let's set this up. Let's set your story up. What were you doing before real estate?
Before real estate, I was in advertising.
At GSTNM,
At GSTNM.
Do you remember our first meeting?
Ah,
First
is there a
meeting.
Chad and Kristen story?
Yeah,
I don't know
it's
about?
hilarious. I've never forgotten.
I do remember meeting you a long, long time ago. I
It
don't.
was 2007.
Okay.
Wow.
And we were in one of these conference rooms over here, redesign.
Uh-huh.
And you said, I was working at GSTNM and BMW was my account. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yes, I was
and
on
you
here.
said, and we learned that people that drive BMWs are assholes.
And then I bought a BMW.
Yes, I love it. So now every time I see a BMW, I think of you and I go,
Well, then you prove that whole concept wrong, right?
On the road, when I got behind the car without a client in my car, I was a different.
Okay.
yeah.
With precious cargo in the car, I'm a very, very conservative driver.
Right.
Being on
on my
clients
own.
or a kid in your car will change that. Yeah.
We just sold that BMW too, by the way, for
pretty funny.
a whopping $1,500. We drove the wheels off of that car and finally got rid of
That's
it.
funny.
All right,
And
I'm
it's
sorry I
like no
interrupted,
money.
but I
That was a
wanted
little side
to-
note there.
Yeah.
I remember that. I didn't know if you remembered that.
I do, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I don't remember that conversation.
And it was your first logo. We designed your first logo.
Yeah, we did. I remember that, yeah.
And those of you that don't know Kristen, that's so out of character for you. Like, Kristen is one of the
Not for me.
nicest, not for him. Only Chad. For Kristen, though, she's one of the nicest, kindest people that I know, and I think that's part of her secret to her success is that people don't realize how driven you are by first meeting because you come across just so lovely and pleasant, and I think that's one of your strongest traits. Absolutely,
Like the
is you're
velvet
very
hammer.
Absolutely, you're trustworthy, and
That's what
clients
people say, so.
and then boom, you get it done.
That's right.
It's a beautiful combination.
Tell
Thank you.
us your story. You were at
So-
GSTNM. You came over. What
I
happened?
was at GSTNM, great company, great people, had great leaders, and actually met my husband there. So really
I
very
know
positive things to say. And yet I worked 80 hours a week and just thought, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, I've seen HGTV. I can sell a few
You're
houses.
one of those.
I was one of those.
You were one of those.
And I thought, I'll get into real estate. And I figured, well, I've grown up here in Austin, so I had no other, I put all my eggs in one basket and said, I'm going to be successful. I'm going to be the rookie of the year. And I was. And
That's
so that was really what propelled me into, success early on.
What year was that?
That was in 2006.
Oh, wow. Okay. That was
So-
your first year, and that's when you were rookie of the year.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How did you do that? What was your secret sauce for the year?
The secret sauce is I plugged into the models and systems that Keller Williams had. When I took the Camp 443, which what it was back then.
That's right.
I just plugged right in and I did all of those. I did what they told you to do, and then
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
So I mean, the models and systems that KW has for us are right there for us. So you
Right.
just have to plug in.
Right. Absolutely.
I didn't completely. I did recreate a couple of wheels, which looking back probably shouldn't have been super creative. So on that, when Gary talks about being entrepreneurial and being creative, I was probably a little bit too creative at the
What's your
beginning.
background?
Yet at the same time, I still followed the systems and
I think
models.
that's normal too.
Yeah.
Because I think everybody comes into real estate and they think they're going to change the world, which is a great thing.
Yeah.
And so they always want to put their own little touch on it. And then when they realize if they just do what they need to do, all that creativity can come later.
It can,
and that's what now you teach and others teach.
Yeah.
The new one's coming on.
Speaking
Absolutely.
of, tell us about your business as it is today. What is it like?
Yeah,
So-
fast forward now 11
Yeah.
years.
So 11 years now, we have a team. We have a pretty small. It's still a small team. I'd say we're a very mighty team, though, because we have really smart.
Small but mighty.
Small and mighty, yes. We have really smart people on our team. So I'm really proud of the people that we have. We've got
Absolutely.
great. We really come from a heart of servants' hearts, and so really want to take care of our clients. And so that's really what I believe is why people keep coming back to us.
That's
and
awesome. What's your team look like? Tell us more. What's the breakdown of your team?
So there's myself as the main listing specialist.
Okay.
We have Casey as our buyer specialist. We have Amy on our team who supports Casey and me, and she's really awesome. Then we have Emily is our director of operations. Carter, who I'm married to, he's kind of our COO marketing and does all the database. And then we have a virtual administrative assistant as well.
Okay, so for salespeople, you have what? Did I hear 3 people?
Really
Is it
two
really
full
two?
time,
Okay.
yeah. So we're
You
looking
and
to grow
one
that.
other.
Yeah. Oh, and we have an OSA.
Okay.
ISA OSA that
Okay.
we just hired.
Okay.
And so she just started a few weeks ago, and then we're looking to add one more into the team
Awesome.
too, because we are
We'll
looking
talk
to,
more about
to grow.
that.
Yeah. What was your first hire?
First hire was actually with Melanie, one of my dear friends that wanted to get back into real estate.
Right.
Decided, why doesn't she just become a part-time assistant and a part-time buyer specialist?
remember that.
And she's an awesome dear friend. She's still in the business today and
Right.
doing really well.
Right.
Yet I should have known better that if she's going to be a great agent, she's probably not going to be cut out for being an assistant.
Right.
So that hire, I would say, I failed forward in the sense that I never have let her become an assistant. She was a great agent, and she's a great agent to this day in a different city. And so,
Sure. That's right.
So, and I remember Melanie saying, "Are you sure she's going to be an agent? Are you sure she's going to be good at being an assistant?" I was like, "Oh, we got this covered. We're going to be great."
Yeah. Mind your own business.
And so I do remember sitting in your office.
I remember that
with that.
conversation.
Yeah.
How
So then
funny.
after that didn't quite work out, she stayed a buyer agent, and then I actually hired a real full-time administrative assistant and executive assistant. Really, she's amazing. So
I
she's
think
been
that's a common mistake, though. And it's a
Absolutely.
failing forward opportunity
Yeah.
because, first of all, you have a connection and a relationship with somebody, so you want to make that space. And a lot of times, honestly, when people are starting out, they think they want to do both
Right.
because they're like, "Ooh, I like the idea of a fixed income to a certain extent, and I like the idea of being flexible and be able to sell property."
Yeah.
And honestly, they're such different profiles.
They're different personalities.
And it's totally different personalities. And so, now, other example would be if you had somebody that was an EA to you and then also maybe carpooled your daughter or something, right? Or you pull them
Totally.
into an assistant, personal
Right.
assistant as well. Something like that could work really nicely.
Absolutely.
But we fell forward in life, right?
Absolutely. I learned my
And
lesson.
that was a great relationship.
And it
Yeah.
was a great relationship, and it still is
Right.
and always will be. So
That's
really,
awesome.
it wasn't a bad thing. It just
Right.
wasn't, where it was going to take me long term.
Exactly.
So-
Exactly.
Well, that's incredible. We're going to get to all that and more. But right
Okay.
now we've got about 25 people watching, and I would
Okay,
just like
cool.
to ask all of you watching. Thanks so much. Do me a favor and put in the comment box where you're from.
Where are you
That'd be cool.
from?
Where are you
That would
from?
be
Where's
really
your
cool.
home market
Yeah.
center?
Where are you
where are you
from?
watching from?
Yes,
Throw that in
absolutely.
the comment box down below the video. And if you have questions for Kristen anytime throughout this interview, you can put your questions in the comment box. And if you see me looking at my phone, that's because I'm looking for questions. So
he's not being rude.
I'm not
He's
being
just
rude.
looking
I'm
for
just checking
questions.
for your questions. So,
So feel free to type in. We have some audience
type in where
here
you're from.
too.
We've
Type
got a
in some
live
questions.
studio audience here in the
Studio
back.
audience,
Type in
yeah.
your questions. Hello, Londa Whittington and Jordan. Glad you guys will be watching.
Hello.
So,
Hello.
Kristen, if I understand this correctly, and tell me if I'm not right, you built your business basically marketing to your database.
Absolutely.
That's been your bread and
that
butter.
was my bread and butter. and
Yeah,
that's
how
why I
big was it
started.
when you started?
Database size, I probably had about 250
Oh, you already had that many. Okay,
people because
great.
I grew up here in Austin.
Right.
So I knew people
You're one
that
of
I
the
went-
unicorns.
Yeah, one of those unicorns. I actually lived here, grew up here.
Right.
So I went to school here. Then I had my friends' parents. I actually sold a lot of houses to my friends' parents. Then I worked here at my first job at GSD&M, and so met a lot of connections there and sold
Right.
houses through there. And then
Well, that's
just-
a great database to start
so yeah,
off with.
so I started off
250. That's awesome, and there were great connections too.
Absolutely, great relationships.
Yeah.
I figured might as well do home sales with people that already know, like, and trust me, and that I know, like, and trust. So it's been a really fun way to build my business because I really like pretty much every single client I've ever had. There's
That's
been
awesome.
a select few, yet for the most part,
Some you choose to love.
yeah, exactly. 99% has all been great people.
And here's the thing, though: a lot of times people don't want to reach out to their database because they are new. So interesting
tell
that
us
wasn't.
about that.
Yeah,
Do you remember
was
the
that an issue for
conversation
you?
in the beginning? Like, how did you break through? Been in advertising, now I'm in real estate.
Right.
What was that? Do you remember what that was like for you?
I don't. I just did it, and because you just kind of have to do it.
Right.
I guess really, one thing no one gets into real estate and says, "Oh, I'm so excited! I get to reach out to people and hope that they want to do business with me." So nobody gets into the business thinking that's what I'm so excited to wake up and do every day.
Sure.
I was just young, and I knew that that's what it was going to take to succeed, and I knew that your relationship. Gary once said, he said, your success in this business is in direct proportion to the number of people who think of you when they think of real estate.
right.
I said, well, I know a lot of people and I want them to think of me, and I promise
Right.
I'm going to take excellent care of them too. So might as well have them work with me, and I'll
Right.
sell them a house or sell their house. And
And that's a real gift, right?
Yeah.
That's a real gift because I think that gets in the way for a lot of people, right? When they're
Yeah.
starting out, is that they think they don't know enough or whatever. And when you realize you have the biggest team in town named Keller Williams behind you.
absolutely, yeah.
You have, a professional knows what he knows what he doesn't know, he knows where to get the answer. So I'll take a skill set or a relationship-based person any day over, somebody that knows everybody. Because if you're not going to put yourself out there
Then-
to that 250 people,
Yeah.
then it's, and so you having passion and taking action on that, people want to support you.
Right.
So that's brilliant. I think that's a lot of agents' biggest
It is.
obstacle, even experienced agents.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I also came from a background selling ad space in a magazine in college, and they give you a list, and you just cold call that list. So
great.
I came from a past career where I really didn't have an option yet to cold call. So to me, it was easy. I was like, oh,
That's
I already
awesome.
know these people. This is way easier than just calling some bar on 6th Street out of the blue and asking them to advertise in my magazine
Right.
that I'm selling
Exactly.
ad space in,
Right,
which is
right.
an awesome magazine, and I just did that. So
What did you study in UT, did you say?
I was in advertising. and
Advertising,
marketing.
yeah, that's awesome.
So, Kristen, talk to the people who are watching, and hello to Sharmila. I know she's at the Northwest Market Center. Susan Venters from New Bern, North Carolina.
All right.
Heather Gimbel here at the Southwest Market Center. Andrea Ryan, she has a question. We're going to get to that
Yes.
topic in a little bit. But talk about the plan that you put in place out of the gate. Tell the kids at home watching, you've got these 250 people. What was your plan? What did that look
How
like?
did you execute? What did you do?
Okay, so I mean, I'm going to sound so simple. Following MREA, doing an
Millionaire Real
8x8
Estate
millionaire
Agent
agent book.
The Red Book.
The Red
by
Book.
Gary Keller and Jay
It's like the Bible for real estate agents.
right.
It's Bible for business owners, really, because
Absolutely.
it can apply to any business. So it was creating an 8x8 and then creating a 33 touch. So
Right.
I created basically a marketing calendar, and I said, okay, I'm going to do e-newsletters, I'm going to do a newsletter, I'm going to do handwritten notes, and I'm going to do phone calls. And I just did those things, and those things are practically free. When I did handwritten notes, because I was really young when I started. I didn't have very much money.
How old were you when you started?
I was 22.
Oh, yeah.
Or
you were-
23.
So right out of college then.
Yeah, after I had 2 years at GSD&M and
Okay.
then hopped straight into real estate.
Did you work at GSDM when you were in college still?
No, I got hired. Well, I
Graduated
started.
early.
Yeah.
Graduated not early. I'm really young for my grade.
Okay.
So I was younger
So I
than
was doing the math. I'm like,
most
wow.
people. And then I started before I graduated.
Okay.
By a couple of months. So
That's awesome, though.
So how did you prioritize those people? Did you just go at it?
I just
or
went
did
at
you
it. I just made a
categorize?
list. I was resourceful by using tax rolls, and Facebook was still not really what
It was
it is
pretty new.
today.
It was
still
really
fairly
new, yeah.
Yet I used Facebook to gather information, and then back then I think White Pages was actually a thing that you didn't have to pay for. So I think I was able to get contact information that way. So I just kind of piecemealed a database and built it in Excel. I was an Excel spreadsheet queen
One of those.
from
Yeah.
my previous world, and so I built
That's
a
awesome.
database that way. And then
But how did you call them? Like, what did you? Because we know that an 8x8 and 33 touch, and if you've studied any of those, none of those work without a phone call every quarter. Like, how did you work that in? Did you just start picking up the phone,
Yeah, I just
or
picked
were
up
you
the
all
phone
heavy
and-
marketing at the beginning?
I was heavy marketing, so I started. My very first touch was a welcome letter into, hey, I'm just joined Keller Williams. We're the #1 real estate company in the world. I'm so excited. Please allow me to take care of you when you have a real estate need, something along those
Awesome.
lines. So then I would call and I said, hey, just want to make sure, did you get my letter? Did you know I'm doing real estate? Who do you know I might be able to help? And it was just a very casual conversation, and I'm not one of those that just loves to put on the hard sell right
That's
away.
not who you are.
No.
And you don't have to do that. People don't
Yeah,
realize
you just
that.
have to
You don't
come
have to
from
do that.
contribution and really care. And
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
that's what I did, because I truly do
Absolutely.
care. And so made those calls that way, and then did a handwritten note follow up after that. And then I would start with just sold postcards and just kind of did a series of marketing, and then I always did would call people. So
And here's the thing: is so I had her in front of the at our team business meeting one last year, and I was asking you about your lead generation efforts. And one thing that you said was you call 5 people from your database, from your sphere, your top people a day. And I think people were blown away because we talk about that. We're like, start with 5 a day.
yeah.
5 a day. That's 25 a week. That's 100 a month that you're probably not reaching out to now.
Yeah.
And is that still in alignment for you now?
Yeah, it's still in alignment. We do a little bit of a higher touch. We basically
Well, with your OSAs and ISAs.
so we do a lot. So me personally, I'm doing about that many
You're still doing your 5 a day.
Yeah, so I basically have our database segmented. So I'm calling my people,
Sure.
and everybody on the team is calling their own people.
Well, what does your database look like today? How many are in there? Have you grown from 250 to what?
I think we're close to 2,000.
That's
And
great.
how did you feed that database over the years?
So just organically growing by meeting people, meeting new clients, and being kind of connected that way. That's not always going to grow it that fast. So I also we do some Facebook marketing, do a lot of internet marketing. So we create a lot of nurtures that way. We did an ISA kind of outreach program that wasn't in-house. We created a lot of contacts that way. I also bought an agent's database, an agent who was getting out of the sales business, and bought their database and incorporated that. And so we did a 8x8 and a 36 touch drip campaign to incorporate them into our database as well. So that was a kind of
There,
a unique
there
way
are a lot of people.
to grow.
I want to
that
drop
way.
anchor on that
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
think people forget in a real estate business, you are building an asset.
Absolutely.
And so
Exactly.
Kristen bought someone's database. She didn't buy their if they're a dentist, she didn't buy their equipment. No, in their in their front desk or all this stuff. In
Yeah.
real estate, the asset
right.
is the database.
The
So if you're out there
relationships.
building a business, you're building a database. In the event that someone like Kristen comes along and you decide to get out of the business, you've got something you can sell. Or if you're ready to retire, you've got something that you can sell to another agent. So I think that's really important for people
Yeah.
to realize
Yeah.
that that's an asset. It's not just some fun Excel sheet or
Right.
CRM system. It is a tangible something that you can put a price tag to.
Well, and
It's
there's
a-
a
it's a
lot of
missed
agents
opportunity.
that have been in the business a long time that are looking to retire and get out of the
Absolutely.
business. So
Yeah.
I've helped a few of my a MAPS coach as well. So I've helped few coaching clients walk through what it is like to buy somebody else's database. So
That's great. That's great.
there's a lot
But
of-
I do think that's just such an underutilized thing for people that.
well, and
are,
as the market starts to shift, there are agents that are in the business that may not want to work that. I mean, totally understandable. May not be
Sure.
cut out for what a shift is.
yeah.
Charmilly wants to know what CRM you guys are using.
Right now, we're using Follow Up Boss.
follow up us.
And we've also used Infusionsoft before too.
Okay.
Both really
Which
great.
is obviously that's your contact management system.
And I'm really excited about Keller Williams.
I know.
CRM that's coming out.
Keller Command,
Yeah.
and Keller Cloud. That's
So
gonna be
we're
so
really
awesome.
excited to
Yeah.
give that a shot when that comes out
Yeah,
too.
that's
So-
going to be very cool. I'm excited
Totally.
about that.
So you guys do event marketing, is that right?
Yes.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about how that works?
So we just do quarterly events. That's kind of become our thing, and so
Cool.
we've dabbled and done a few different types of events. We've done some business events. We did one with a One Thing seminar last year, and so that was really targeted at our kind of high-minded business leaders in our sphere of influence.
I love
was,
that.
That was really great.
Where did you do that at?
We did it here in Austin,
Okay,
and Don Hobbs was
Yeah.
our speaker, so that was really fun.
Where did you do it physically?
Physically at the Keller Williams International office.
Awesome. That's very cool.
So that was great.
Yeah.
We've done movie nights.
Uh-huh.
We've done a few of those. I'll do some seminars, not quarterly. I'll do seminars based on like protesting your taxes, things like that.
Kind of like timing of
or
the year.
first-time homebuyer seminars or
Okay.
investor seminars. I've done those.
How do you get people to show up?
You just market it through email. We've done some mailed invitations that you've actually created for us as the Firebox, because Firebox is awesome, by the way.
Shout out, Firebox.
A little shout out. And then call, too. I mean, it's really important that you pick up the
Oh.
phone and you call.
Absolutely.
I mean, people are more likely to attend your
Yeah.
events if you pick up the phone and you call. And then I'll also text, too. I'll do a call, follow up with a text. Would love to have you there. And then a few other ways. I mean, you've got to hit them multiple ways, a lot of different angles, and then order to get people.
And obviously they're different
show
audiences
us.
too,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
They're different. You're targeting different people for the One Thing. You're targeting different people for first time home buyer
Right.
seminar or investor workshops or whatever that is, right?
Yeah, so this year, the next event that we're working towards is an Easter egg hunt. So we're
Oh,
gonna,
cool.
that'll be fun.
Nice.
Will everybody get invited to that?
Everyone will get invited to that.
That's
And that'll be
awesome.
fun because so many of our people have kids now.
Sure.
And they didn't necessarily have kids, and so now we have a kid.
And Ellie could be the Easter Bunny.
Yeah, Ellie, that's right.
Get your picture taken with Ellie.
That's right. So,
That's so
that's
cute.
kind of fun to
Oh, I love
be
that.
able to do that.
And it's
kind
fun
of
as
make
it evolves every year, right?
Absolutely.
And I think people miss out on those client events. And client events are such a great way to
yeah.
reach out to your entire database. But you got to make that call,
Yeah.
and then when they weren't there, you call and say, "Gosh, we missed you," and you notice things like that.
Yeah, it's
People
just
really-
a way to have fun.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
This
That's
business
great.
is also supposed to be fun. If you're
Absolutely.
not waking up having fun every day, then
Something's wrong.
Yeah.
And from a marketing
that.
point of view, I think that, and tell me if you disagree with this, I think putting on an event, it's just as much about the buzz and touching people before and after
Absolutely.
as the event itself.
Yeah.
So don't get lost on that idea that it's just I had 10 people show up to my first event. Well, you touched 2,000 leading up to
Exactly.
that.
That we're
Yeah.
thinking
to
about
do
you.
that
Uh-huh.
is just
Exactly.
so don't forget about the before and after an event.
Yeah, that's
of an
huge.
event.
That's
But events
huge.
are great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Why don't we play a little word nerd?
Oh, some
You ready
word
for nerd?
Okay. Yes.
You know what
That's
that
fun.
is?
I was.
Have you seen?
Was briefed.
Okay.
So
So the way that this works,
You probably know them.
I don't know.
we're gonna give you a word.
Okay.
Aaron, go ahead and throw the first one up, and then you just tell us what you think it means.
Okay. This is like at Galaxy Cafe when you get the funny words.
Exactly.
I've never heard of that.
Exactly. The first one is on the screen.
Okay.
Cattywampus.
Oh, that's easy.
Haywire. Crazy.
Crazy.
Like all out of alignment.
Okay. Well,
Isn't that right?
No, it's not.
It's a good guess.
Um,
Oh.
I would.
I
I
swear that was right.
Hey, we are cattywampus right now, actually.
Oh, or like positioning?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our set is cattywampus.
Oh, okay.
We're like kitty corner.
Kitty cornered.
Oh,
Yeah.
cornered. Okay.
I wanted to give you words that you could use in your business.
Okay.
So
So when I'm like, showing a house,
Yeah.
if the furniture, if the bed is not straight in alignment, I can say it's cattywampus,
Yeah.
and then
That's right, and you'll look
Exactly.
really smart. Exactly.
all right,
Okay,
here's the next one. Here we go. The next one is taradiddle.
Huh.
it makes me think of a poodle and a pterodactyl. I
That's
have
very
no idea.
close. I would love to see that. It's pretentious nonsense.
Pretentious
This show is taradiddle.
Pterodactyl.
It's
Okay.
pretentious
Oh, come on.
nonsense.
No. This part of the show is that. This
All right,
part of the show.
that
Our
was-
show is awesome. This part is that.
All right, the next one is Widdershins.
Widdershins. Golly, I'm not being the most creative off the on the fly. Widdershins.
Yeah. Sounds Deutsch to me.
It could
Widershins.
Widershins?
It's like shutters.
Shutters, or
That's what-
I'm thinking of
yeah.
maybe like something that spins.
You're so
Oh,
that's amazing. In a counter, and you did it with your hand in a contrary, like left-handed, like counterclockwise direction.
That's just
Wow! You're the first person
You're the
ever to
first
get
person.
one. That's amazing.
I have
That's
no
incredible.
idea. I have no
I'm
idea. how that
impressed.
happened.
Okay,
All
then
right,
she'll
here's the
definitely
next
get this
one.
one then.
Okay.
Here's
She's
the
on
next
it.
one. She's on fire.
This is, yeah.
Did I do it wrong, Aaron? I did it wrong.
Okay, we'll just say it.
It's collie wobbles.
Collie wobbles. A collie that wobbles.
That's
There
great.
you go, exactly.
Stomach ache.
Ah, I was gonna say, okay, collie
Full
wobbles.
disclosure, I have no idea where he gets these words
Yeah, I've never heard of
It's
these
all
words.
chat.
A secret dictionary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The next one is trilemma.
Trilemma.
Think about
a
this one.
dilemma that you're a three-way dilemma.
Oh my
That one makes sense. That one totally makes sense. She got
That's
two.
amazing.
That's amazing.
Yes,
We need
a
a
problem
prize.
with
We definitely
three
need a crown.
possibilities.
That's right.
That's
Hey.
incredible.
So I'm better at words than I thought I would be.
You're
Well, think
so
about real estate
smart.
often can have a trilemma.
Yeah,
Yes.
lots of trilemmas.
See, you can use these
Definitely.
words in your
Yeah,
business.
totally.
See, so you learned something
Yeah,
today.
multiple offers. We have a trilemma,
We have
kids.
a trilemma.
Yeah.
I have every once in a while there's trilemmas. Yes.
And we will work through this. We will
Yeah.
work through this.
Yeah,
I like
that's
that.
incredible.
So do we want to jump to coaching?
Yeah.
So let's
Okay.
talk about MAPS coaching. So in
Ah.
Keller Williams, we have this awesome thing called MAPS that coaches team leaders, agents, from every level of whatever there is in Keller Williams, there are coaches for that.
Absolutely.
And at some point you said you wanted to become one of them, and you have been.
Yes.
For like, when was that? And tell us about your journey and what that looks like. How do you fit into your schedule? All that good stuff.
Yeah, so a couple of years ago, I was in Bold, and I've always wanted to become a coach. I just wasn't planning on becoming a coach this early in my career. And I was talking with John Prescott, and he said, well, why not now? And I said, well, I just wasn't planning on it. It's not in my plan. And he said, well, let's go ahead and just take you through the process.
You were 9 years in sales already, right?
Yeah.
At the time? 'Cause
Yeah.
You've been 11 now, right?
Yeah, I've been 11. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's right at that 8 to 9 year mark.
Okay.
And so that's kind of the mark where people start to get a little bit itchy anyways. And so it's kind of getting itchy. What's next
Yeah,
for me?
sure.
And so just went through the process, and it's a long interview process, and there's a lot of hoops to jump through, and
Sure.
it's all very worth it. And so became a coach, and now I'm coaching 15 MAPS clients.
Wow. So they're half-hour
They're
calls.
30-minute calls
Every
on
week.
the phone every single week, 40 calls a year.
Okay, so that's 7.5 hours of your week. You're on the phone with agents from all production levels across
All
the
levels.
country, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm coaching agents from the probably 6 to 8 to on the $10 million mark.
Okay.
Up to 60 million. So
Okay.
I mean, I've got some really mega agents that
Nice.
I'm coaching. It's really awesome. So my goal for coaching them is, this year was how many of them can I make millionaires? So
Oh,
that's kind of
awesome.
cool.
That's
to
awesome.
be
That's
able
your
to-
goal for this year? Mm-hmm. Okay, and how many do you think will hit it?
I think 6 will.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So 7.5 hours a week. Okay, and with that, there's planning time, there's preparation time, because you always have to be a step ahead of the person you're coaching. And that's the
Absolutely.
team leader, same thing, right? When
Yeah.
you're consulting. And I think coaching is one of the most powerful things you can do for somebody, is be a coach to somebody. So tell us about, how do you work that into your very busy schedule? Because like we said earlier, you don't have a lot of salespeople.
Right.
You have a lot of support staff and a lot of people doing that, but you don't have a lot of physical bodies going on the actual appointments, and you have a
Yeah.
big business.
Right.
So how do you make that work in your schedule?
Surprisingly, it just fits. I mean, all work expands.
Surprisingly, because you make it fit.
Because you make it fit. All work
Yeah.
expands to fit the time allowed. That's the whole
Absolutely.
law, and it's so absolutely true. So I just fit it in. I do all my calls on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah.
I do a block of time in Tuesday and Thursday mornings.
Okay.
And then after lunch, Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm locked for coaching.
That's awesome.
So yes. So
What do you get out of that? Why did you want to go down
Yeah.
that path?
well, I find it really rewarding when I'm able to bring somebody and help them become successful. It's just kind of a satisfaction that you're making a really big difference and that you're being significant. And then you think about the families that you're helping touch, because you're helping the agent be successful, and then you're helping their clients become successful as well. So it's a really great
Yeah.
impact. So you really feel very significant when you're able to move people forward.
Well, you hear about that all the time. You have agents that are living these successful businesses. They have successful businesses, and you move from and you're significant to the people you work with, right? Your clients, and I mean helping people buy or sell a home is a big deal for them,
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
So when you move out of yourself and say, I want to help more people
make that happen
in their businesses, it becomes the shift from just success in your business to significance for other agents, and then the impact is like that butterfly effect, because you're not just helping that agent, you're helping all of those clients that agent is helping.
That
and there's
client's business, that client's team members, the clients of the team, their family, and then subsequently all their family. So it's a pretty big ripple effect with just coaching one of the clients.
What do you have to say to folks who would like to move down that path that you've taken? What things do they need to be doing now to prepare for that? What steps do they need to take?
I would say invest in yourself and grow yourself.
Absolutely.
Because like Diane always says, your business grows to the extent that you do. So you have to grow as a person and invest in yourself in order to become the person that can help and challenge somebody to think big and become bigger.
How did you do that?
I read at least 2 books a month. So that's one easy, simple answer. I'm always going to training sessions. So at least quarterly, we're going to some sort of a traveling event, training and investing in ourselves. Listening to podcasts, and I don't listen to the radio. I listen to podcasts these days.
Do you have any podcasts you recommend?
My favorite podcast is EntreLeadership.
Okay.
I really think that's a great one.
Cool.
It's a part of Dave Ramsey's
Is that Dave Ramsey
program? Yeah.
From his book and everything.
They always are interviewing really awesome leaders and leaders of all industries.
Nice.
So you really learn quite a bit.
Yeah, like
exactly.
what we do.
Pretty much.
You call everything frivolous.
Pretentious.
No.
Big difference.
So things like that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So and
protecting your mind and protecting what you put into it. So really not watching, bad. I mean, not saying I don't watch trashy shows. I mean, I do watch The Bachelor. That's probably the only.
I feel so much better.
That's the only kind of like trashy show I watch. Although
That's my closet fix too.
I rarely watch TV, so it's just
But
protecting what you put in.
Like skip the commercials. So I
there
can
you
read
go.
a book while it's commercial time.
There you go.
Okay, whatever. Okay, it's a little far.
Yeah.
Just seems like that. But it is. But it's a balance. And what are you feeding
is.
your mind with? Are you listening to negativity? Back to the how did somebody become a MAPS coach? I think if you're not coaching, if you're not being coached yourself,
you have to be a coach.
That's step one. Is you got to get a coach. And a lot of you are on the fence out there about, oh my gosh, paying for coaching. Just think about family reunion, masterminds, maid camp. That's all included in that.
Yeah.
And every agent that I've ever talked to about this, when they finally made that jump into coaching, it's just impacted them.
Agents in coaching earn over 300% more GCI.
Oh, say that again into the camera.
Agents in Mastery MAPS coaching earn more than 300% more GCI than agents not in MAPS coaching. So,
That's amazing.
Do you think MAPS coaching works? Absolutely does.
And I know there's a lot of coaching companies out there, and the thing is, it's like if you want to coach to the highest level, you want somebody that knows it all in the Keller Williams way, right? And that's what the MAPS coaches are so good at.
Yeah, we know all the models and systems. I mean, we're 265 amazing coaches,
Oh, is that
very
how many
well
now?
trained.
That's great.
Yeah, we're an awesome bunch of
And the
people.
other thing
and
is-
you get to learn from Diana Kokoska, who's amazing,
She
and
is
Tony,
amazing.
and I mean
They're
the
the real leaders of
leadership
that.
within MAPS is fantastic. So
Well, that's why we just won Best Training Company. That's all
Absolutely.
driven by MAPS,
Yeah.
actually.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
all driven from MAPS. So one last thing about that is investing in yourself in coaching, and then also the other feedback I get, and so those of you watching from around the country, sometimes your coach isn't the right match, and that's okay. And I always say that, I'm like, I know MAPS coaching works. I've been in MAPS coaching for 10 years. If it's not a fit for whatever, or maybe you're going in a different way or something.
Yeah.
But be vocal
there's
about
always
it. and-
different perspectives, so
Absolutely.
it never hurts to change coaches.
Absolutely.
If you
and they're
you know,
so behind that. They're really good about
absolutely.
that. So.
We're all about. We really want our clients with MAPS to be matched up and to really be moving forward. So
Yeah.
you've got to be making strides moving forward, and that's
Right.
our number one goal. Every time I get off the phone with a client, I say, "Did I move that client forward?"
That's who said at Family Reunion that their MAPS coaching was a salary line item.
I don't know.
Do you
who said that. I
remember?
didn't
Was
hear-
that somebody said it was like it's just a salary? It's a non-negotiable. It's just a person. My coaching is just a
Maybe
salary.
Kristen Cole. might
Was
have
it
said
Cody?
that.
It was in our
it's
interview.
Cody.
Yeah,
Cody,
and I thought
okay.
that was
Yeah,
so smart. It's just
absolutely.
He
it's
thinks
one
of them as a staff person.
exactly.
It's just part of
Yeah.
staff.
That's a pretty cheap staff person.
Yeah.
when you
No
think about it.
kidding. And
Yeah.
the return that you're going to get on that is
Absolutely.
unlimited, right?
It's a huge return.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
So I think it's pretty awesome how you've managed to do that in your business, and your business just continues to increase, and you've had some other changes too.
Yeah.
Which I think
So
you're going to talk about, right?
I do, but I want to remind everybody at home. Submit your questions. Now's the time to get your questions in for Kristen because we're going to wind this down.
Okay.
We do have a question that leads us into the question section.
Okay.
You just had a baby.
I did.
How long ago?
Yes, 7 months. She's 7-month-old. She's the cutest thing
She's
ever.
adorable.
She's sweet too.
Awesome.
Love her.
Andrea Ryan wants to know. She says she's asking for a friend. Okay.
Okay.
How do you balance being a strong, successful businesswoman and a family?
Okay, Andrea.
From one mother to another.
Yes.
She's going the same thing.
I would say it's the right people and it's leverage. We have the best nanny on the planet, and we actually used a nanny headhunting service in Austin
wow. Okay.
to find her. So and then I took, before Career Visioning came out, I took our nanny through the recruit select process. Did recruit select questions and did an
Did you
interview.
really?
I did an
That's
ABA
great.
on her.
Right.
And she's she's the most basic person. So really,
That's
it's having
awesome.
great leverage. And so our structure of my husband and our lives is really we work and spend time with the baby. So our nanny helps us with the groceries and helps us with cooking and laundry. So all of those things are outsourced through that leverage that we chose to get, and that's made it really a lot easier for us. And then it is really important for me. I was home with Ellie pretty much all of last year after I had her in July.
Yeah.
And pretty much worked from home, and
Right.
so that was a
you had
challenge.
good people in place. Yeah.
I had good people in place, yet our business did take a little bit of a step back.
Sure.
And so I realized, what I would have done differently was prepare. I thought, I'm going to go right back into work. I'm not going to take some
think
time off.
Everybody thinks that.
Everyone thinks that you can get right back into it, and then emotionally, I just was not prepared to be back in the office every single day, showing up as a leader I really should have shown up as, and so I should have prepared better.
And here's the question:
I think
how
that
do you
we've been kicked off the internet.
think?
I think so.
Are we live still?
There's a little delay, so it's hard for me to tell.
Okay, so we'll just wait for a second and let it
Can
catch
you go
up
to
to
Chrome,
us.
Aaron?
That's where I'm going.
Let's see.
Stopped on my phone,
Stopped on your phone.
and we dropped like 10 viewers all at once. Because I think it went black.
Fetching.
Yeah, I think we're off.
I think that they're waiting. I think we're still.
Oh.
Oh, there it is.
There it is.
Okay.
Okay.
We're back in,
Awesome.
guys. We're back in. Okay, perfect. So we're talking about, when you have a big life change, like, having a child.
Okay,
it rocks
thank you,
your world.
Sharmila.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Thanks for telling us that. So I don't, and you were saying you don't think you prepared enough. I don't think you can ever be prepared for what's really coming as a parent.
I don't think
and
so.
I think you have done a really great job, and I love that you said you really needed help at home, because if you don't have leverage, you had leverage in your business, and then you eventually had leverage at home. That's how you can do what you do.
Right.
But if you don't have that, and I know I resisted that a long time. My kids were 4 and 1 when I started, and I had family around me, so that was my leverage. But when I moved to Austin, I didn't have that, and even though my kids were 1st and 4th grade, that rocked my world and was a huge challenge for me until I finally figured out the help that I needed was really at home. Because how can you be a successful business person and be a great mom? You really can have it all, and I'm a huge advocate of that. You just have to have the right people in your life.
Absolutely.
This is not a male. This is a male question. Is there guilt associated with getting home help?
No, not for me.
Well, you said yes.
For you, not for me.
In the beginning, there was a little bit of guilt because I worked such long days. So and my husband travels always for Germany. He'll be months at a time on a movie. So for me, I had a little bit about not being there because I've been so engaged. I've been a stay-at-home mom for 5 years. So my transition went from 5 years of raising these boys. They were my number one thing when we were in Germany and moved back to the States, to then when I jumped into real estate. I was so excited, but then I also had this tugging, like, I realized when I was home with them juggling both, I felt guilty for not being present. So that's something I've had to learn, and I've taught even to this day. Like, my son says to me, well, if you were just going to work from home, why'd you stay home? And I'm like, that's a good point, and thank you for reminding me. I have these 2 emails, and then I'm totally present. Because it's a balancing act that's just now starting for you.
Yeah.
Right? And having the right people, it's all about the right people and having leverage at home for sure.
And no guilt for you.
I grew up in Keller Williams as like a early 20-year-old to now an early mid 30-year-old. So I grew up with the mindset of thinking big and having leverage.
That's awesome.
Yet I do have, I guess the guilt I might have is around like my mom and my mother-in-law. They didn't ever grow up having someone clean their house or raise their kids, and so I'm still raising my kid.
Sure.
We just have another person who gets to love on her and raise her too.
That's great.
So a little bit of guilt around, the way that I might be judged by family. I hope they're not watching.
Yeah. Well, I will be sending this to them, and I totally relate to that.
At the same time, from the way my peers and the way I here in the office, no, not at all, because she's in such amazing hands at every single moment. Either she's with us or she's with Katie or with one of our family members. My parents still help out quite a bit, and my mother-in-law flew in from North Carolina last week to stay with her.
But think about this, and even without kids, let's just say you didn't have kids, but I waited so long to get a cleaning person and all that stuff because my husband was super resistant. He's German, and you don't do that, And then I would always hear Gary Keller saying, well, what's your dollar per hour activity?
Yeah.
If you're going to be doing the landscaping, if you're going to be doing the cleaning the house, so the time that you do have off with your family or just for yourself, even if you don't have kids, is that if it's not something you're passionate about and you have a good business life, why wouldn't you? So for me, at 40, it was really liberating to finally have a cleaning person. I waited way too long. I wish I would have started that the minute I started in real estate, right?
Yeah.
And so I think people wait too long to get leverage in the right positions earlier on. And letting go, because when you let go and let somebody else do that, they can be in and out of your house for $80.
I had never been passionate about cleaning my toilets.
Well, me either.
or bathrooms the leverage we'd love to have is maybe like 15 minutes. Someone come do our dishes after we finish.
That's called a living.
We can manage
maybe
the 15 minutes it takes to do the dishes, and let's be honest, Carter does most of it.
And one of the things Kathleen Booker said to me, and Wendy Papazan early on, was leverage in their families, right? And they're such big business women that I was like, here I'm a team leader doing exactly what our megas are doing for the biggest teams in town,
the world.
and I'm not getting the leverage I need, and that was a huge aha for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Huge aha for me.
Yeah. Wow.
And I think no matter what, and I think when you have a baby, and that's a great question from Andrea, because she herself is going through this. It's what do I need to do to create a supportive environment for myself, so you can be, when you're at work, and when you're home,
Oh yeah.
right? And it's a balancing act, but it's all comes back to having good people in your business and in your personal.
That's what it is. You gotta be surrounded by good people.
Do you know Charity Hare?
I do.
She says you're the best real estate agent in all of Austin.
Aww, Charity, thank you.
And where's she from?
They're from Austin.
Okay.
And I've sold the whole Hare family. They're all awesome. My latest sales with them, they all bought 6-acre pieces of land next to each other.
Oh, fun.
So the whole family, both brothers and wives and their parents are all going to have houses on an estate.
That's awesome.
They call the 888 Ranch.
Oh, I love that.
I mean, and
great.
so that's the kind of stuff that, as a realtor, I get to make those kinds of fun things happen.
Yeah.
So thanks, Charity.
Oh, that's awesome. Well done.
Hello to Carissa Ortegon, watching from South Texas. Thanks for tuning in.
Awesome.
Okay, great.
Thanks.
Awesome. Kristen, what's next for you guys?
What's next for us?
Yeah.
Well, it's just continuing to grow the business and get more people, grow the business through people on our team. So we're looking to hire more people.
Okay.
I'd love to replace myself in the listing agent role. Love to become.
What's a timeline on that? What is your goal
Probably
to
within
be?
the next 6 months.
Oh, wow. So this year, you want to replace yourself and
Yeah.
not be going on the appointments anymore.
I'd
Interesting.
I'd still probably go on some appointments,
Some,
yet
okay.
leverage out a lot of those.
Okay.
And then expansion is something that we're actually starting to talk about too, because
Okay.
that's where the future of real estate's headed.
Sure is.
So
Yeah.
we want to be there too. So
That's right.
That's in the, not the 1 year goal, probably in the next 2 to 3 year goal.
Okay, that's
Headed
awesome.
that direction too.
And I love that at Keller Williams, our agents who grow these great companies within our company can expand and kind of franchise themselves through our franchise, and it's a great partnership. And there were so many great breakout sessions. I don't know if you went to any
Absolutely,
of those at family reunion, and it's unbelievable, because if you have those systems in place and you have the right people,
Yeah.
there's no limit to your opportunity
There really
going to
isn't.
multiple markets.
I was actually on a panel with Cody Gibson and
Oh,
Chris Suarez,
awesome.
and then me. And
Oh,
I
that's
thought,
fantastic.
these are these awesome agents who have these really awesome expansion businesses.
Yes.
And I should have an expansion business too. And so I just started thinking, this is where we really need
No
to head,
kidding.
should head, and
Yeah.
that's, we're going to start charting that path.
Well, that was your big aha. What was the panel on?
grow $1 million business.
Oh, very cool.
Nice.
I love that.
So yeah,
That's
it
great.
was
That's
awesome.
very cool. So, one last takeaway. Do you have something you heard besides expansion for you? Any big nugget from last week that you want to share?
Yes, so I would love to share what Gary said in Quantum Leap. He said, never underestimate that you're only 5 years away from where you choose to be in your life. So really, he talked about where he was in the kind of the depths of his business when he started Keller Williams and then went backwards. And then in 5 years, what he was able to create and grow.
Yeah.
And so really, you can accomplish amazing things in 5 years. So you're only 5 years away from what you can accomplish.
It's
and so to
amazing.
me, that was
Yeah.
a really great aha, because it doesn't take a lifetime to
That's
create.
Kristen,
Exactly.
Rosie Hare has a question.
Yes.
Hey, Rosie.
Hey, Rosie.
Northwest Market Center.
Awesome.
Yeah.
She says, what is one tweak in business you did that created exponential growth for you?
One tweak in
One tweak.
business. I would say, just off the top of my head, bringing Carter into the business.
Are you going to keep him?
I'm going to keep him around.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Carter, for all you don't, he's my husband also. He's awesome.
He
And-
is incredible.
And bringing him to kind of manage the high level marketing operations. He's like our the COO, and we didn't have, it was between me and Emily, our admin, who were just not getting the marketing done and executed. So he came in and he manages the database, manages the financials. We didn't have P&Ls on a regular
Yeah.
basis. So he
Interesting.
does all of the high level finance
That's
and
awesome.
marketing
Uh-huh.
that I on my own was in charge of doing a very poor job of making happen. So once he was our game changer.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Having that really high level person doing ops.
And Rosie actually works with her husband at the Northwest.
Yes, Rosie, you do.
Yeah.
So,
So I wonder how those relationships play together. But really, and we've heard that with Courtney Oldham, people when they have a spouse or somebody they really trust come
Yeah.
in, that you can really that owns it. They
Well,
can
because
really
he
let
had that
go.
experience
Right.
at a really high level
Yeah.
in marketing from a client side in the marketing industry, and
Right.
so to bring him in with all that knowledge was
That's
that was
awesome.
pretty key.
That's very.
That's
cool.
one thing I can think of off the top of my head.
I think the one thing, and I made a word swag. If you guys know that app, word swag, where you can just make a quote and make a really cool little visual thing. And Gary Keller said, all of life is an afterthought.
Yes.
First you think it and then it becomes. And I love that. And it's the same thing with the 5-year thing, because, and you are such a testimony of that. It's like, first you have to take time to think, what do I want to do next? What is next for me? And look, you've added MAPS coaching. You've had a child. Your business is going to just go blow up this year, and you're going to start expanding into multiple cities. There's no limit.
Right.
But first you have to be able to, it's within
You have to think it first.
first creation,
Absolutely.
and then
Yeah.
second creation is you make it happen. I thought that was just so powerful. So Keller Williams agents watching, if you've not seen the Quantum Leap session from Family
Oh.
Reunion, it is on KW Connect. It was awesome. It's just amazing.
It's always awesome to hear that.
It always is.
It always resonates at a
swag.
different level.
Yeah. All right. So any other questions or comments from anybody?
Rosie was asking a question, but I think we've got that taken care of.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kristen.
Awesome.
You've been so much
Yeah.
fun.
amazing.
Yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
been terrific.
This was fun.
This is fun, right?
Yeah, it's so fun. I was
See,
like,
see how easy it was?
yeah, so easy. I
Totally
can do this.
comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
For all of you agents out there, if you need help with your marketing, please reach out to the Flower Boss Club. We are
They're
here
awesome.
to serve you.
And they have done a ton a ton of stuff for us and our business and our team over the years. So I think so highly of you.
Thank
Oh, that's
you.
awesome.
And Flower
I
Box
appreciate
Club.
that. I appreciate
So he's
that.
not just a pretty face.
No, he is a pretty face.
He's the pretty face.
Yeah.
He takes a pretty market.
And team leaders, if you are
Yes.
interested in having the Flowerbox Club in your market center, go to helpmymarketcenter.com and look at all the many different ways that we're able to really become a partner with you in your
huge
market
leverage
center.
for us. Huge leverage for us, and we are so excited that we get to interview these great stories. So watch for more of our open house sessions here and interviews. So tune in, like Flowerbox Club, and Kristen, thank you so much.
Yeah,
for being
thanks
here.
for having
Kristen.
me. Awesome.
Thanks.
All
Bye,
right.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye, guys.